Hello, Branch listeners. I'm your host, Maddie.
And I'm Doug.
Tell us what you're wearing.
I am wearing... Okay, actually, so I'm wearing these khaki pants that I'm very excited about because it has this pocket here.
And it zips.
And there's no use for it. It's on the side of my leg.
It's in the seam, yes.
Yeah, like, what do you put here? Drugs?
Probably drugs.
But
it's
look,
a good place
look.
to conceal things.
Look, I'm going to put my phone in there. Is it really a good place to conceal things?
Nope, it's not.
You can see the whole imprint.
See the whole thing.
Also, I'm wearing Bobby's thermal underwear.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. This is our ego episode.
I'm sick.
Doug is sick.
I'm sorry.
So, what we're talking about today is confidence, self-image.
Okay, I feel like we are the best to talk about confidence because we project so much of it. But have so little of it.
I mean, yes and no. I do think that I am the ideal of humanity.
Yeah, but you also don't.
Yes, but I also don't.
Yeah.
There's a slight humility to me. So what I'm wearing. Get out of here, Doug.
It's not humility. You have confidence and anxiety.
Yes. Let me tell the listeners what I'm wearing. Because I knew we were recording this episode today, so I wanted to wear an outfit that made me feel super confident and ego-y. So I'm wearing my crop top, which is my one shirt that I wear all the time.
Yeah, you actually recorded in this several times.
Several times, yeah. Yes. My favorite shirt. And then I have cool new jeans that I'm wearing that have like the ripped legs.
And is this patches or is it just like tights?
I'm just wearing leggings underneath it because I get cold.
But I can't even see the leggings because they're camouflage.
They're camo?
Yeah.
So the point is, I look super hot.
Did you ask me what I was wearing so that way you could tell me what you were wearing?
Yes, I did.
God damn it. That was good.
You're welcome. For two things.
I'm gonna drink some of your coffee.
Go for it.
I'm sick.
It's really
sick.
sweet.
I'm not
you
gonna
can
do
have
that.
the rest of it, but you won't like it.
No, I'm not gonna like it. Why would I have the rest of it?
Because you want the caffeine.
Yeah. I drank a whole pot of coffee today already.
Yes. Yeah. So the fun thing that's going to be, the fun thing about talking about ego today is that Doug and I are often accused of being overconfident. Like, we're a lot in a room.
We have a lot of us.
Yes.
There's a lot of us.
Yes.
Packed into two small bodies.
So small.
Hey, I think my butt's getting bigger.
So is mine. I've been doing squats.
Oh my god, I've just been working manual labor.
That's, that'll do it.
Yeah. I actually, yesterday I got out of the shower and I, cupped it. And there was, a handful.
I love it.
And my hands are big.
You got a good booty now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna put tallies up then throughout the rest of the episode where I'm gonna call them ego points.
Okay, I'm gonna keep score. Hold on.
So far I would say I have 2 because I asked you what you were wearing solely so I could tell you what I was wearing. And you get 1 because the butt thing.
Oh, I only get 1?
Well,
yeah, so far.
I feel like I did something else for it.
You think that they would have a tally making app out there?
If you want to, you can
keep score at home.
You can keep score at home. You can make it a drinking game.
Actually, here's the drinking game, folks. Drink to make your way through this episode.
Or this will be a shit show. Get on our Facebook and tell us which one of us you think has the bigger ego.
And who deserves to have the bigger ego?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
It'll cause fighting.
This is going to rip this podcast apart.
Yes. I think it would if we weren't so aware of it, which is something that we are going to talk about.
This idea is the Yoko Ono of Branch Podcast.
I love it. Okay, so before we get into it, and Doug will ask you a few questions after I do this, but I want to go ahead and define what ego is, what egoism is, and then what self-confidence is, because they are different.
Okay.
So the ego is essentially like the abstract idea of one's self, like the inside self.
Yeah.
Mine is so much bigger than what my body is. So is Doug's. And then egoism is, of course, like in philosophy, it's the like idea of morality centering around the self. So it's like you and like this is the center of the universe basically, and this will define morality outwardly.
Okay.
Like so being egotistical would be like practicing this.
Okay.
And then self-confidence is more or less just having a self-reassurance in and of your being. And it also means, which I looked it up because I looked it up in the dictionary, it apparently also means the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. It's a firm trust. So there's like a trusting of yourself.
There's like you have confidence in yourself, or like I have confidence in this chair.
Yes.
Because I'm sitting in it.
It will not break under Doug's massive ass.
My thick booty.
Doug has a shelf ass now.
Tried to bounce a quarter off of it. It's not that big.
I'm actually sitting on that.
Me too.
Yes. So here is basically my question to you, Doug, is how often do people say like, oh, you have a lot of self-confidence? And how often do they mean it in a good way, and how often do they mean it in a bad way?
Actually, okay, so these days it's less, but if you were to go to the me like 2 years ago,
yeah,
I think that it was a lot more on my sleeve.
Gotcha.
You know, like I still like I think I get it the most in social situations because I really flourish in a group. You know, I have no problem talking to strangers, entertaining, whatever. I thrive in that. And so usually, you know, if I'm in a social situation, that's when people are most likely to say like, oh yeah, you're really confident.
Yeah.
And that's mostly in a good way. I don't really get it too often in a negative way. Every now and again, my friends will put me in check. Yeah. But not really. I think a lot of the negative aspects of my egoism is all internal. Yeah. So, or like Bobby has mentioned before, like I just assume that I can go do something. Yeah. And I don't always have all of the tools or know-how. Or I'll just assume that the way I've done something will work. And he's like, you have no basis for that. You have no way of knowing if that's right or not.
Like, no, I'm going to go fly.
I think the only reason I'm still alive is because Bobby has stopped me from being confident in things here and there. He's also boosted my confidence in a lot of ways. It's not like an unhealthy thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Now that is interesting. I will say that there is a difference, of course, between women being self-confident and men being self-confident. Do you see this?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that society is built for men to be confident in themselves. Yeah. And when women are confident in themselves, they have to overcome a lot of hurdles. Like they have to, in my mind, like they have to overcome this hurdle of like, well, I'm not supposed to be like this, or am I confident or am I a bitch? You know, and people both love and hate to see a confident woman, whereas people just expect to see a confident man.
Right. You have all the tools in society to just make you believe in yourself. It's great.
And society still hasn't figured out what to do with, you know, confident, non-binary people.
That is true. Yeah. It's a very much for the binary loving human. Yeah. It's probably the worst time. Yeah. Okay, so that is interesting. So we're gonna talk about me now.
Yeah, okay. 10 minutes. That's all that took.
Give me another point. Because I am curious. Asking the question is the difference between being self-confident as a man and being self-confident as a woman. I will say that in any situation, I am self-confident, but in a room, while I do thrive in a social situation just like you do, I have to earn that spot more depending on what it is. I am never awarded the authority that I think I have in my head, but it also depends. In a very socially party situation, that's fine, but in a business setting, no one is looking at me. No one is listening to what I have to say or taking me seriously.
Well, and it's weird because I think we're on a precipice of change in society when it comes to that, but it puts us at a weird point where society is telling women, go and do and be all these great things, but then when they go and do and be all these great things, they're just like, okay.
Yeah,
like, right? Oh, okay, silly woman doing this.
Right, like she succeeded, you know, despite all of these things about her.
Or like, you know what I'm tired of?
What?
News articles being like, a woman did this.
Right.
Or then like, okay, cool. Like, I think that is fine. I don't understand why we're making a big deal out of it. And I feel like these articles, while trying to, you know, stoke the fires of feminism, are part of the issue.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they'll just be like, oh, look, it's not natural for women to be able to succeed in this way.
Let's like call it out and make it a thing and alienate this woman even more.
Yeah.
Which is a very, like, it's a very real thing. And like you feel it all the time.
Yeah.
Even if you aren't conscious of it.
Yeah.
And there's so many other pieces of it too, because you get people who are like egotistical and they're assholes, but I wouldn't call either of us an asshole. I think we both care very, very much about other people.
Yeah, I think if anything, to a fault, we care about the experience that the people around us are having.
Right. I think that's what makes us so extroverted and what makes us so like willing and so like self-confident, like that's the thing, is that's what we do. We want other people to have a good time, so we perform for them. It's very much an act of giving.
Right.
Damn it, Doug.
I know. You can see it. Well, yeah, I think too, like, I know for myself, when I'm interacting with people, in the back of my head, I'm always, you know, taking note of their body language, of their tone, of everything, and trying to interpret how they're experiencing that situation, and I adjust accordingly.
Yes.
Which, to me, when you think of, like, the natural, like, well, not the natural, when you think of, like, the typical thought of, like, an egotistical person, it seems like a small ego sort of thing to do. Mm-hmm. But I don't think so. Like, I think that helps booster my ego, you know, and bolster it. Yeah. Because now I know how to navigate these scenarios. And I am the master of conversation. I'm giving myself a point.
Yeah, do it. Which is something that I like too. I will say for sure, my ego is definitely the highest when I make somebody else feel good, when I can think to myself, and it's an ego-y thought, it's a selfish thought, but like, or maybe it's not selfish, I don't know, like I have done something to make somebody feel good or included, and they get to tell their story, and like you can kind of see that they're laughing or like having a good time and talking, and then in my head I'm like, wow, I feel great now.
Yeah, well, and I think that's okay. Like, I think that's a good thing, because, and it's not selfish, it may be self-centered. Yeah. You know, because you are taking their experience and in your mind you are making it a little bit about yourself. Yeah. But I think that's how we're kind of wired as humans. Like, when we see people having a good time because of something we did, it's supposed to make us feel good. Yeah. Because, you know, that's how social creatures work.
Right. And and I just feel like other people deserve to have a good time. And if I can make that happen, I'm like, wow, I've succeeded in my goal.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why we have this podcast.
Yes, it is. We both have a need to perform. Yeah. And also for attention.
I think that sometimes it's hard to not feel like we're just screaming into a void with the podcast.
But there's a point.
We do have listeners too.
Yes.
So that's cool. So thanks, guys. Yes. If you're listening to this right now, cool. That's it.
Tell us about you. Tell us what you want to hear. Give us a topic. Give us some branches.
Yeah, tweet at us or Instagram at us or Facebook at us at Branch Podcast, or email branchpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah. But don't send us thirst messages.
Let's talk about the thirst messages thing.
Let's talk about it.
We should talk about it, because this is the one, oh, this upsets me so. Okay. So I posted to our Facebook, you can go back and see the picture that I posted of myself. Mm-hmm. Call it a thirst trap, call it what you will. I liked the photo because I thought it was a good photo. I thought it was interesting.
Well, it's not like it was super revealing. No. You know,
it did make me feel very confident that people posted to it. And the question on the photo was, like, what kind of Disney person would I be, a hero or a villain? And pretty much everybody said anti-hero.
Yeah, and, you know, it was a very fun little way to get people hyped for our last episode, the Disney episode.
Yeah. And it was funny, if you look through the comments, you will see that somebody posted something that Doug responded to it on the page, and he said, that's going to go straight to her ego. It did. It made me feel very good. Keep doing it. But it was like a fun little thing. And then some man ruined it.
Like they do.
Yes, as they do. And messaged us asking for photos of the little girl in the picture.
Hold on. I will read it. Okay, here it is. It's from a lovely gentleman named...
No names. He doesn't get a name. He doesn't get to be shouted out for doing this.
Okay, a lovely gentleman who we will call Pinky.
Okay.
Pinky says, "Hi." And let me just tell you, from that, I already knew what was happening.
It was going to be gross.
I've had enough men slide into my DMs, and I knew you had posted that picture. I knew what was coming next. And so I said, "Hello?" And he goes, "Hello." "Hello again." And he goes, "2. How are you?" And so I just wanted to nip it in the bud. I was like, this is a podcast page, right? This isn't the personal Facebook of the girl in the picture. And he says, "I'm saying little girls." And I was like, "What? No, get out." He says, "Why out?" Because this isn't Maddie's personal Facebook. I'm a dude, and you're kind of being a creep. He goes, "God send photo. Who are you?" And then in all caps I replied, and this is going to be our slogan for 2020. "This is the page of Brant's podcast. Leave us alone, you horny bastard." To which, in fairness, he said, "Okay."
But the problem with it is how small it was, is how much, entitlement went with it.
With sliding into DMs at all, you want to talk about ego and entitlement.
Yes.
Thinking that just because an attractive person exists and is on Facebook means that you can message them and try to... What are you trying to do? What's your end game here? Because you don't even live close by.
Right.
What do you want? What?
And here's the hardest part about that, is that I posted this photo and it made me feel really good. It boosted my ego. It made me feel very confident. I didn't strut through life, and I wasn't an asshole about it. It was just this is a good thing. People are engaging with it. I like this kind of a thing. And then he did that, and everything he said was weird anyway, and we've parsed it all out. And so he was asking, he's asking about me, and it took away my own autonomy to my body. And I had this thought where it was cool, I never get to be in control of myself.
Yeah, it took a moment where you got to feel good about yourself, and that made you feel dirty.
Yeah. Because that's the thing too, right? With egoism, is that when it's about me, when it's about my ego, it's about me owning myself and my body and who I am, and I get to feel good in a room. Nobody else gets to own me.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is on your list of things to talk about, but maybe we could talk about what's good and bad about having a big ego.
Yeah, yes, that's okay. On my list of things.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Okay, cool. You first.
So one of the big things is that people tell me, so for me, it's a joke, right? I joke about myself a lot. If something weird or dumb happens to me, I'm but why? I'm so perfect. And if you know me, you know that I'm kidding. Mm-hmm. And I do have a high opinion of myself, but at the same time, it's not I don't think that the world bows down to me or something like that. I'm not personally offended when weird things happen to me. I just think it's very funny, and this is a way for me to express that. Yeah. But very often it is misread, and I am told that I am overconfident or overbearing, or my ego is too big.
Well, you know what I say? You don't exist for the pleasure of other people.
But in a way I do, because that's the source of my egoism. Well, it's to be big and loud and in a room, but to perform.
I think you enjoy performing in the way I do, and you enjoy making other people's experience good. However, they don't get to tell you how to live.
Right.
They don't get to tell you, no, you're being too much right now. And you know what? I think we have the same level of egoism.
Yeah.
I never get that.
Yeah. Well, you're a man.
I know. Yep. That's what I'm saying. So next time someone says you're too much, literally be too much by punching them in the throat.
Right? And sometimes it can be a joke where my friends will, like you said, like sometimes your friends will take you down a notch. And there are 100% times where I need, like, to, like, Maddie, calm down. It's not all about you.
Yeah, but just err on the side of caution and always punch them in the throat.
Right? And, like, with my friends, when they, like, joke to me and say, like, look at that ego, like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But it has been so, like, what happened to me ever since I was a kid, for whatever reason, I've always had, like, a high amount of self-confidence. People were very threatened by it.
Yeah, I think that people do get threatened. And it's almost, like, socially weirdly unacceptable to have a boosted ego and a high amount of self-confidence. Because people, I think it holds a mirror up to them, and they see that they are not having as much confidence in themselves. And on the other hand, though, too, like, sometimes you're just a dick. Like, not you personally, but, like, there are people out there who just make everything all about themselves and, like, don't care if they're interrupting people and just talking over people or just waiting for their turn to talk again. And that is too much egoism.
That's truthfully egoism.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between that and kind of what we do. And, no, you know, not to talk about myself or anything, but my dick is very large, just so everybody knows.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen it.
It's just huge. Like, we have a separate room for it.
Yeah. She carries it around in, like, a trough. Wait, wheelbarrow?
Yes. It's my favorite position also. So those are some of the negative aspects. I mean, I remember being like 13 years old and like being ripped into by my friends because nobody expects you to love yourself. They tell you to. And then if you do it, that's upsetting.
Yeah. Okay. That actually, I want to just talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
Lizzo.
Okay.
When you're talking about loving yourself and having self-worth, she is the queen of it.
Yeah.
And she has had to overcome not only people who tell her, like, hey, you don't have any reason to love yourself, or like, hey, you're a fat band nerd.
Yeah.
Which is what she was called a lot. That's not me, Lizzo. But she's had to overcome the negativity, but then she's had to overcome the hidden negativity and a lot of the positivity. We're just like, oh, she's so brave to love herself.
Yeah.
Because it's saying, oh my God, she loves herself even though she's fat.
Yeah, she loves herself even though she shouldn't.
Yeah.
Look at all these flaws that she has. Like, newsflash, everybody has flaws. Like, we're not perfect people. Like, I'm perfect, but, like, we're not.
Yeah. Well, and what I love about Lizzo is she calls that out. She's like, don't tell me I'm brave for loving myself.
Yeah.
I'm just loving myself.
Yes, which is the thing. And you can hear it when in her music, too. A lot of the things that resonate with me, even though I don't really listen to it, but when it comes on, it's like, know when to leave. Know when you're not being valued anymore. Like, how is that being egotistical?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's not. It's just showing your self-care.
You do your hair flip, check your nails. I don't know how much I can sing, how much of it I can say without it being, you know.
Yeah. Copyright issue.
Like a licensing issue, yeah.
Damn it, Doug.
I'm trying.
And you're not trying hard enough in our ego game. I've dropped I have 3 extra points now.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Oh. Hey, let's talk about how great my eyes are.
Okay, let's do it. Doug has gorgeous eyes. He does.
It's like a crystal blue lake on the side of a mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, that you just want to swim in for days.
Right. It's like one of those like heated springs, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a light blue that you can see across the room, but it's not a piercing blue. It's just an inviting, lovely blue.
It's a secretly piercing blue.
It's a mysterious blue.
It sucks you in and then pierces you. Okay, I did that literally for the point.
For the point?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to give myself 2.
Because we went on for a while.
That was good.
I like it. And so that kind of brings us to, like, the negative aspects. Like, we've been talking about the negative aspects, like how to know when your ego is getting too big is an article that I found. Too much is never enough. Disliking when people succeed. Redirecting the attention back to you. Just to reiterate, my dick is so big.
Oh my god. Well, I think the big one for me is not liking when other people succeed. Yeah. Like, that's a good litmus. When somebody else does something good or positive, if the first thing you think is, oh god, they're better than me, you have a problem. Yes. You need to reevaluate your motives.
Yes, because that's the next part of it, is constantly comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
And that's when we touch into egoism, and it's no longer confidence. Mm-hmm. Because it's you thinking that you deserve to succeed more than other people, and that is different. That's completely different. Yeah. And you're right, it is a good litmus test for, like, when you need to check yourself.
Yeah, before you wreck yourself.
Before. Don't wreck yourself.
Don't wreck it. Don't wreck yourself.
The other
check yourself.
For Branch Trap Podcast is check yourself, because Doug and Maddie have already wrecked themselves.
Let us be your cautionary tale.
Yes. Craving respect and recognition, which that's again a balancing act. Like, I do want to be respected and recognized, but like, it's when you reach an extreme.
Yeah, I think desiring respect and recognition is a good thing, but when it becomes like that is your only motivation, you gotta watch out.
Yeah. Always being defensive, that's a huge one. We all know somebody like this. I am not always defensive. I am not. Like, genuinely, I'm not always defensive.
I had to, like, overcome that, like, and I still do a lot. It's not even egocentric at all.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's more like insecurities.
Okay.
Like relational insecurities that I've had to overcome. Mm-hmm. That caused me to get defensive because I assume that somebody's thinking something or believes something about me that lessens me.
Right. Doug has anxiety.
I do. And depression.
These are those things.
I take medication.
Which is good. But you're right. I mean, that does breed, like, being defensive and all of those things. So we're going to talk about fun stuff that boosts your ego. What's something weird, like, what's something kind of quirky and different, and it shouldn't boost your ego, but it totally boosts your ego?
When somebody randomly gets food for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, we know we're going to be hanging out, and they go get food for themselves, and then without even asking me, they just bring me food.
Yeah.
That's a big ego boost for me.
Love it.
But mostly, I think my personal, like, when we're talking about, like, my ego gets boosted when I get flirted with.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah, when I get checked out.
Yeah.
Honestly, as gross as it makes me feel, when guys slide in my DMs, because I'm like, yes, you're right.
That's not an invitation. Also, it's not an invitation. It's not an invitation.
Yeah, don't. Like, don't. Just don't. Like, just don't. Okay, listeners, you guys are hip. You're, like, cool. You have good taste in podcasts. You're obviously successful, happy, well-adjusted people.
That's why you're listening to our podcast, because you want to see how the other half lives.
Because you're not familiar with what a dumpster fire sounds like. But there's no reason to slide into someone's DMs, you know? There's not. If you don't know them, you don't need to be talking to them on the internet in a romantic and or sexual fashion.
Right.
And you may be saying to yourself, well, you know, on Tinder you do that, or on all these other apps you do that. And let me tell you, consent is key.
Right.
If they have consented to be flirted with or dirty talked to, then fucking get it, you fucking pervert. But if they haven't at all, implicitly, and being attractive and also on Facebook does not count as consent,
right?
Stay the fuck away. Like, Jesus, crawl out of your mom's basement, get a fucking life, and
do something else. Literally
do anything else.
Yeah.
Get a hobby.
Yes.
Do you like Dungeons and Dragons? I like Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a good way to act out all those fantasies.
Does being a dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons, does that boost your ego?
Actually, yeah. So being a DM is nice because I am their god.
I was thinking more like it reaffirms your ability to tell stories, but yes.
Yeah, no, I am god of that world. I make things happen. And then also, if we're just cards on the table, like, kind of the negative side of my ego, being a dungeon master is pretty great because I have control over that table.
Yes.
Only to a certain extent. Like, there's, like, a trope in D&D, no matter what, is the players fuck everything up.
Right.
And they do. But I can pull things together. I can pull the strings. I make things happen. And yeah, that's a big stroke to my ego.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I like it. Okay, are there any other ones you have that would boost your ego?
Yes.
Tell me.
When I'm right.
I feel like that's pretty normal.
Okay. We're looking for weird things that boost your ego.
We're looking for fun stuff.
When I am in a store and I'm so confident about my actions that people think I work there.
Oh, that boosts your ego?
That's an ego boost.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I guess it is.
When you're looking for an employee, you're looking for someone that looks like they belong there.
Yeah, they look like they know what they're doing.
And I like looking like I belong in an environment. Any environment.
This is Doug. He works everywhere.
That store, my home, prison, anywhere.
Doug often visits prison.
Conjugal visits. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad.
It's his mysterious blue eyes. What are weird and quirky things that decrease your ego? That like just really take you down a notch? And actually, here's a better question. How long does it take you to recover should somebody...
Oh, it takes me fucking ever.
Do you hold a grudge against that person?
No. Okay, here's the thing about holding a grudge. People always say like, oh, life's too short. Blah, 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 blah. No. Life is too fucking long to have to care about holding a grudge.
Right.
Like, it doesn't end. You think it's gonna end and it doesn't. You keep living and you just wake up the next day and you have to hold that fucking grudge.
You're right. It's a waste of energy.
Yeah. No, I don't do that.
That's fair.
We just finished that one. Oh, those things that take away from my ego.
Yes.
Okay. As far as things that, like, damage my ego, people critiquing what I'm wearing or my looks are big ones. I mean, those are normal. Really, like, all of my insecurity is based in, like, me being helpful or a positive addition to, like, any scenario or someone's life.
Right.
So if anybody even mentions something that cursorily could, in my mind, get translated to, like, you are not a positive influence here or you are not making things better, then yeah, that destroys me for days. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because that's exactly what we were saying before with us. A lot of this confidence, a lot of this egotistical or egoist behavior that we like exude definitely comes from a place of performance. So if somebody's like, your performance is bad, it's like that bit in you, that core of you, no.
Yeah.
And that hurts.
It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about you? What is a way, like, what are weird or quirky ways that your ego can be boosted?
Okay, anytime anybody ever says, like, you know, like I do something, and they're like, hi, love, or like, thank you, love, or like, thanks, babe. Like, any random person who calls me, like, babe or love or something, even if that's just, like, their trademark thing, and, like, they say that to everybody, I'm like, oh, I feel so special.
I think it'd be really weird if I ever called you babe.
It would be weird.
I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not. It's just not going to happen.
I do really like that. Like, I just like to be addressed with, like, you know, what would those be called? Like,
words of affirmation?
It's not really words of affirmation. It's like titles.
It's like pet names and stuff.
Yeah, and like definitely like in my relationship when I am called like by a pet name, I know they're disgusting. Listen, I know. but I love it so much.
Well, I realized the other day that Bobby and I basically just call each other baby. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, baby. Or like, hey, babe. Like, whenever one of us uses the other person's real name, we're like, whoa.
Like, where's all this aggression coming from?
Yeah, what's the matter here? What did I do?
I am 100% the same way. And so I really like it when I am addressed with, like, just any kind of, like, loviness.
Yeah.
It just swells. Being invited places. But that's normal.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like, just feeling like someone was thinking about you and wanting you to be included in what they're doing.
Yeah, because that's a good one. I feel like we would be, like, more egotistical if we believed all the time that, like, hey, everybody wants to hang out with me, like, 100% of the time.
I think our ego is actually very much on top of the very thin foundation of our insecurities.
It is, because I can say that one thing that, like, one of my insecurities is that I am not pretty in a traditional sense of pretty.
Yeah.
I still think I'm very attractive. I just feel like I do it differently.
Yeah.
Or I feel like what's on the inside is pretty, and then I have this look that kind of, like, exaggerates who I am as a person, and that's attractive.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that I'm, like, hanging out or, like, I'm with somebody who is, like I see somebody on the street who's, like, very, like, traditionally pretty, I'm like, you're attacking me with your beauty.
Yeah, I get that. I feel the same way, because I feel like I look good.
Yeah.
But I see, like, guys who, like, are, like, muscly and, like, got that, like, jawline and things like that, and I'm like, oh, good, I am a potato.
Right? And it just and that's the whole comparing yourself to others thing too, where, like, and I've definitely had to work very hard at this. And because this is being real, very real and honest. I know that we all do this. We all hate pretty people.
Yes. Well, I don't.
I mean, and that's the thing, is I've worked very hard to not, like, hate somebody for the way that they look. They, like, people who are very traditionally pretty, like, my insecurities on the inside are like, my then conscious brain is like, you know what? Good for you. I hope you feel beautiful, because that's what matters.
It's like Beyonce says.
Yes.
Pretty hurts.
Yes, it does. It hurts everybody else.
It hurts everybody. Weirdly enough, like, I feel like, and this is not me being a bad person, everybody, because I work hard to overcome this. The prettier you are, the more inherently I trust you.
Yes, we have talked about this before. Yeah. And that's something that's just seeded even in our, like, genetics. It's built into society. It's that whole thing, like, pretty people succeed, which I think Doug and I do joke about in kind of an ego-y way, where we're like, that's the joke. Like, that's what I do. I'm like, I'm so pretty. Like, why aren't I president? Like, shouldn't somebody have given that to me?
If pretty people succeed, why am I failing?
Like, why am I so poor? And for us, that's very funny, because it reaffirms, like, two things. A, we're still worth it. Yeah. And B, it's not all about us, and, like, that is fine. Also, we're very pretty. Like, also, we're so pretty.
We're so fucking hot.
We are so fucking hot.
I wish that you guys could see us right now. Well, not me. I'm sick, and I look it. Like, I can feel my eyes being puffy right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Doug does.
I look like I'm on death's fucking doorstep.
No, he doesn't. It's not that bad. I mean, close, but not that bad.
Oh, like I'm a few feet away. I'm on death's porch, but not quite at the doorstep yet.
Yes. I'm trying to think of some other, like...
Death's gazebo.
Oh, if anybody were to compliment the way that I speak or anything that I, like, bring up content-wise, that's amazing. That actually matters to me more than anything else.
Do you think that is also a way that somebody could really cut your ego down?
100%. If you make fun of, or not even make fun, if you, like, critique, like, the way that I write, and I've worked very hard to take criticism, because that's something that you just have to learn how to do. Like, if I, like, write a story and it's like, oh, like, this just isn't that good, just ruins my life.
You know what? And I can say this because she'll never listen to our podcast, because she's made it vocally clear. I will never show your roommate another piece of my writing ever again. For that very reason.
Yes.
Because she was like, okay, so it's kind of terrible. And I'm like, all right, well, so are you.
And done.
I do love her, though.
Yes.
I want to put that out there. She is great. And that story, in all fairness, was bad.
Yeah. See, but it totally just ruins your ego.
Yeah.
Yes. That is one that's very ego-y. If you like critique like my writing or just something simple like, oh, like Maddie, like haha, like you need to come here and this is a run-on sentence. I'm like, well then why did you even read my paper? Get out of here.
Like it's actually just like, hey, just make this little change.
Right. And then I'm like,
you make a little change in your fucking life, you fucking loser.
It's just such an over-exaggeration and an overreaction. And of course, we definitely do not act this way. This is like just trying to be like as honest as possible.
But it's definitely our thoughts.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that everybody can relate to that. We just don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this is sort of related.
Okay.
Oh, like how often do you actually like look at yourself in the mirror?
Not as often as you'd think.
Yeah.
When I can tell you, when I was in high school, I almost never looked at myself in the mirror, and that was definitely a pointed decision because I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And now I don't really look at myself in the mirror because I don't really need to.
Yeah, well, I feel like I only look at parts of, whatever part I need to look at, like, look at my hair or like the skin on my face or, whatever.
Yeah. And is that...
I guess also the rest of my face while I'm...
Like you see it.
On there.
But how is that like a choice because like you're confident that you look good, or is it like you don't want to?
I guess it's got to be a confidence thing because it's just something that I don't think about. It's not it's not a decision that I'm like actively making. I'm just going about my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely remember times where I was like more insecure about the way that I looked physically. And I kept my head down the whole time.
Yeah, I think that was my entire like high school. Yeah. Middle of high school.
It's middle and high school. So it makes sense.
Well, I definitely, I age like a fine wine.
Just beautifully.
You start out completely unpalatable.
Yes.
And then slowly it get better.
Yes. I think, what happened to me is that I, like, legitimately became... Like, I was confident in myself as a person. Like, I liked who I was. And it was when I got to a point where I saw it on the outside, where that's when I was truly, like, happier, truly more confident and everything else. And I've always said this, is that I believe I'm an attractive person because I look like who I am, and who I am is attractive.
Yeah.
So... those are kind of like our quirky ego things. We should definitely talk about, and we've touched on this, about how society is like, love yourself, but don't. And those things. What if we talk about like the larger aspects of ego? Like where does it come from? Where in the cosmos?
Where in the cosmos?
And
Mercury.
How does it... Yes. Yeah, right, because when it's in retrograde, it does fuck everything up.
I guess. That's what girls with dyed hair tell me.
And I think this is always sort of like a larger branch of pretty much all of our topics, is how does our experience with this thing influence how we interact with society as a whole? Well,
I think, kind of like we were talking earlier, society really wants you to love yourself in theory.
Right.
But then... like, I think, okay, here's how we gotta break it down in my mind. We have society.
Right.
And then we have people.
Yes.
That you actually see every day.
Yes.
Society really wants you to love yourself. And society wants you to be the best that you can be. But when people interact with you on a day-to-day basis, they don't always want that. And I don't think that it's because they're bad people. I think it's, maybe your confidence in it and your looks seems foreign to them, or your confidence in your humor or your knowledge seems foreign to them because they don't have confidence in that. And so they're like, whoa, slow it down, Buster. Mm-hmm. Buster Rue.
Keaton with the movies. What are you doing alive again? But I feel like that is a product of their own egoism. It's when, because we all have these pieces in us, and when two different people come into contact and those pieces collide, it's often collateral of that is how can I, manipulate or change this situation so that my ego is boosted.
Yeah.
And theirs is taken down. And what I would love to see is, just in general, but for this specifically, is that things don't have to be a zero-sum game. If your friend is confident, it doesn't make you less confident.
Guys, it is 2019 and it's almost 2020. We are here to gas up our friends.
Yes.
And strangers, whomever. You know what makes a stranger really happy? Compliments.
Yes.
Also creeps them out a little bit.
It does, but it does feel good.
Whatever. But, if, I think that we need to move away from this idea that we make ourselves higher by bringing others lower.
Yes.
We can all go to that mountaintop, know?
If we work hard and do it together. With the power of friendship!
Or at least just a few rocks higher than we were before. We may not make it to the mountaintop, but we can bring each other all a little bit higher.
Yes. I think that that's kind of the thing. Is when you move to any one side of the extreme, you either take it away from yourself or you take it away from somebody else. Mm-hmm. But if we just are confident with each other and we boost other people up so that they can be confident, we get this magical communication between the two and everybody gets to be honest.
Well, so it's like this, I saw this meme and it was talking about rights, but it's very applicable here. It's like, somebody else having rights doesn't take your rights away. Correct. Or doesn't give you less rights. It's not pie.
Right.
Confidence isn't pie. Somebody having more confidence doesn't mean you have to have less, or vice versa. It's not a finite resource. It's not a fossil fuel. We can all have confidence, and doesn't have to be any wars about it.
Right. Talk about, war is just the epitome of egoism.
And we don't have to build a pipeline through native land for confidence. And we don't.
That's our political tie-in.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. There's probably more fossil fuel related things.
But that's the thing.
Confidence doesn't come from dinosaurs.
I guess it is technically dinosaurs, but it's more like old trees, but whatever. I'm so much smarter than you, Doug.
Confidence doesn't come from prehistoric palm fronds.
But that's the thing, is that you can really take a lot of the stuff that we talk about and you can apply it to why policies are made the way that they are made. Because somebody's stick has to be bigger.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous. I have the biggest stick. We know this. Stop trying to compete with me.
Theodore Roosevelt had a big stick.
Yeah, but was it as big as mine?
No.
But
he, let's talk about my favorite president.
Yes.
Donald Trump. No. I was trying to tell myself not to say that. Teddy Roosevelt.
Right.
If you want to talk about a confident person.
Yeah.
This is what he used to do in his earlier days in politics. Back in the day, other politicians would come over and, you'd invite them to your billiard room and you'd smoke cigars. He would invite them to strip down to their underwear and wrestle him in his basement.
I love it. It's not even gay at all.
Very confident and very homoerotic.
That is dope. Okay.
So he had a big stick. He's radiating that big stick energy.
Yeah, he is. Hashtag big stick energy. Hashtag branched.
Hashtag big branch energy.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Because it sticks trees. Wow. Yeah. We're so smart. But yeah, that's the thing, is that I think when we look at the way that we interact with ourselves inside, it really shows why we do some of the other things that we do, or why societies interact with other societies the way that they do.
Yeah.
Because somebody has to believe that they're right, and somebody has to believe that they are better.
You want to talk about a country with big ego.
This one?
This one.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about a small country with an ego bigger than themselves...
North Korea?
North Korea.
Yeah, if we're talking about, self-confidence, I think we're talking about maybe France. Maybe France is a little stuck up. And maybe they think that their language is, better than everybody else, but they're not actively trying.
They have too many letters. You have too many letters, French people.
Take it down a notch.
You're pronouncing every seventh one.
So we'll just say that, maybe that country is one. They're a little stuck up. They're a little too confident, whatever. But they're not actively threatening to nuke other places the way that America and North Korea are doing.
Yeah, America, North Korea, Russia.
Yeah.
We have
a lot of them. Most of them. Most
we
countries.
have the smallest theoretical dicks as countries. Like our country has a very tiny dick.
Right. We rev our engine at the stop sign.
Yeah, we got a fucking lift kit. Mm-hmm. It took me a long time to understand what a lift kit was, and then I felt really stupid because it's in the name.
Yes, it is.
It just lifts it up.
Yes, it does. And now we're lifting each other up.
Yeah.
Bam.
Listen, guys, 2020, right around the corner. It's right next month. No. A little more than a month. And when 2020 happens, we need to all remember just a few tidbits, facts. One, our world, not even metaphorically, is literally on fire.
Yes.
2, it's probably not going to last that much longer. So 3,
Maddie has a big dick.
And 4, we just need to be nice.
Just be nice. Okay, going back to like weird things that boost your ego, and I said this in the very beginning. Being kind blows my ego out of the water. I just like to be nice to other people.
And same. And so if you see somebody post a selfie online, don't be like, I hate when people post selfies. Like, fucking heart react to that shit.
Yeah.
Like, heart react and comment on it and be like, you fucking slay. You're a goddamn just
queen.
Goddess.
Blow them up.
Yeah, do that. And, like, just do it. It costs you nothing, and it can just make somebody feel good.
And then it's going to make you feel good, and everybody's going to get a boost.
And then you don't know where somebody's at in life. You know, if they're at a dark spot, you can either be rude and make it darker, or you can just make them feel a little bit better, even if it's just for a moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of the biggest thing about egoism, is that even though maybe it's taken the wrong way, maybe you're like us, maybe you're a big person in a room and people think that, like, you are too much or you're too overconfident. Like, just keep giving to other people. Just, like, stop worrying about what somebody else is doing. Stop telling people that they're maybe too big in a room. Now, if they are truthfully making it all about themselves and, like, being the negative parts of egoism that we talked about, like, that is different. But
I think you can ask yourself, is their confidence making me uncomfortable?
Right.
Or is their behavior disrupting an event?
Yeah.
You know, and then go from there.
Right. And I think that's going to be the major takeaway from 2019 going into 2020.
Yeah.
Let's gas each other up.
Let's gas each other up. Vroom, vroom, motherfucker.
Let's cool this planet down.
Let's cool this planet down and gas each other up. Let's greenhouse gas each other up.
I love it. Let's do that. And don't forget to put everybody's squishy bits in your mouth. That'll boost somebody's ego.
Yeah.
But leave us alone, you
horny
bastards.
Alone, you horny bastards. That's it.
Bye.
Bye.